John chapter 3, we'll be starting a little bit later in the chapter. We'll start in verse 27. And we'll go through verse 30 or 31. And it says, John answered and said, "A man can receive nothing unless it has been given to him from heaven. You yourselves bear me witness that I said, I am not the Christ, but I have been sent before him. He who has the bride is the bridegroom, but the friend of the bridegroom who stands and hears him rejoices greatly because of the bridegroom's voice. Therefore this joy of mine is fulfilled. He must increase, but I must decrease. He who comes from above is above all. He who is of the earth is earthly and speaks of the earth. He who comes from heaven is above all." So last Wednesday, or on Wednesday, Pastor was talking about Enoch and how he walked with the Lord for 300 years, and how his presence, his individuality had to decrease as he became more like Christ. His humanity had to decrease as he became more like Christ. So he had to put away himself. And there's many verses that talk about this. And that was a great example of that was Pastor's lesson on Wednesday. But there's more verses, and this is one of them. It says in verse 30, it says, "He must increase, but I must decrease," talking about the Lord. So the Lord's presence in your life has to increase. You have to be more like him. But there's another verse in 2 Corinthians chapter 4, and I'll just read it from here. Verses 5 and 6, it says, "For we do not preach ourselves, but Christ Jesus the Lord, and ourselves your bondservants for Jesus' sake. For it is the God who commanded light to shine out of darkness, who has shown in our hearts to give the light of the knowledge of the glory of God in the face of Jesus Christ." So we're not commending ourselves when we're witnessing as well. So this can be taken two ways. This can be taken as either an excuse or a challenge to become more Christ-like. It's when people see that our character is inconsistent, when they see that we're flawed, we can use this to say, but you're not, I'm the flawed person. I'm commending Christ who is above me, but we're supposed to become like Christ. This is a challenge to internally become like Christ. So there isn't any discrepancy, any inconsistency in our character that could be called out and noticed. We're the best witness when we are true to God alone. When we're alone, we don't have to stop caring about Jesus and putting him first. And that's where it all starts. If we don't care about him when we're alone, then commending him is never going to be as effective, and our witness won't be as effective if God isn't in us first. So this isn't an excuse like, I'm a flawed being preaching to you or teaching you, telling you about Christ, so ignore my flaws and look to Jesus. They should be able to look to your character as a reflection of Jesus as well, and that's part of your witness. So instead of using the fact that we're flawed beings as an excuse, we should use becoming closer to Christ as a strength in our witnessing journeys. So those two verses kind of add on to decreasing of yourself, the idea of Enoch decreasing of himself, becoming more like God, and how it helps in witnessing. So that's just what I wanted to bring today. That's all I have. And let's all stand, and we'll have a word of prayer.